Toothless turns 15, we're revisiting the 2010 film, How to Train Your Dragon. Hello. Please come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Have a seat. We'll put a movie on for you. This is Movies at Grandma's House, where we look at the movies from the past to see with our modern eyes if it's good and Grandma approves. And I'm your host, Isaac. We're Vikings. It's an occupational hazard. And who's joining me to consider the 2010 How to Train Your Dragon?
This is Seth. I'm really beginning to question your teaching methods.
And welcome everyone to Grandma's House. It's great to see you, Seth. How you feeling?
Doing good. It's good to see everybody back.
Yes. Seth just had a little break, but it's great to have him back because I'm sure a lot of people were missing your fun facts and all your input for the movies we considered. Big shout out to Ajax, Sheldon, Ben for filling in the last episode, though. We appreciate them stepping up. And again, we're just happy to see you, Seth. So welcome back. But this is an exciting episode. This is kind of a newer film that we're going to consider, and in anticipation of the live action movie. We thought it was appropriate to consider this movie. But before we do, again, this is your fair warning. We're going to be getting into spoiler territory. So consider yourself warned. And if you enjoy visiting Grandma's house, show her some love. Smash that subscribe button below so you'll be up to date when our new episodes drop. So again, we are considering not the live action, but the 2010 How to Train Your Dragon. This came out on March 26th, 2010. It had a budget of $165 million, so big budget there. And we might get into reason why. I have some suspicions on why, but box office, $494.9 million. So it did pretty well at the box office. The reviews, I'm like, wow, when I look at these. IMDb, 8.1. Rotten Tomatoes, 99%.
Wow.
Whenever I see that, like 90s for Rotten Tomatoes, that's impressive. You know that's impressive. And Metacritic is about a 75%. I see Google is 87%. So just a little view kind of looking around at the stats there for this film, but I'm interested to hear, what are your first memories with this film?
So I watched this around 2011 or so and thought it was really funny and well written. So that is my first memories of this one.
That's cool. I didn't see it when it first came out. I would say it was around 2012, a couple years later, and it was going to be my future wife. We were actually dating at the time, engaged, and she said, "This is a great movie. You got to watch this." So that's my first memories, is actually fun. You know, it's back when you're dating, you're engaged, and yes, she became my wife. So it's just kind of, when I look at this movie, it's kind of fun memories for me that way. But I do recall I really enjoyed it. I was like, you're right, because she enjoyed it. She said it's a great movie. Watched it. I was like, yeah, this is a really fun movie. But with that considered, this came out 15 years ago. So with that in mind, I'm interested to hear, what were your expectations going back on the rewatch?
Really, I was just hoping it'd be as good as I remembered. And that's, I wasn't really holding it too high of expectations, just hoping that it was funny. It's still funny.
Yeah. Like I said, I have those memories, but I was like, I want to go back and kind of, even though it was 15 years, that's a long time, but considering some of the movies we've looked at, they've been a lot longer. I was like, I want to go back and kind of have that fun trip down memory lane, but also, as always, see what my kids think. This just seemed up their alley, the type of humor, like you mentioned, the animation, the story, all that thing. It just seemed like my kids should really enjoy this. So as usual, just see how they enjoy it, what parts they find enjoyable, and that sort of thing. Well, before we get into our plot rewind, let's pause just a moment to hear from our sponsor. Love movies as much as we do? Bring the experience of the big screen to your walls with movieposters.com. Whether you're into classics, blockbusters, or indie gems, they've got something for every film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can get 15% off your order now. Just use code Grandma'sHouse15 at checkout. Head to movieposters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today. All right. I think in this case, it's probably going to be more of a DVD, Blu-ray, not a VHS, because by this point they just weren't being made. So let's go with DVD this time. Let's take it out of the case. Let's put it into the DVD player and press play.
A 15-year-old young man named Hiccup is a young Viking looking to join the fight against the dragons. His father is a Viking chief. In a quest to capture a dragon, Hiccup ends up befriending it and learning friendship sometimes contains wings. Grab some Kool-Aid as Grandma puts on another movie from the past.
Yay, there you go. So this is, when I look at this movie, my first impressions just personally is it just hits the ground running. Like the first scene is just action, 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 action. That's what really sticks out to me. But I'm interested. What's kind of your first impressions as you're watching this movie?
So my first impressions is I immediately recall seeing this around 14 years ago. So when I put it on, I was like, oh yeah, okay. And so I remember being just a feel-good movie with lots of laughs. And it definitely delivered that for sure.
Yeah, right on that. It took me right back. Like I said, about the time that I first saw it, it's something about this movie. I can't explain it. It just has that nostalgia. This is what I would define a nostalgic movie in that time period in my life. It just really took me back. My kids really got into it. They were just, like I mentioned, there's action, action, action. There's explosions. It's dragons with fire. So it's just constant, but I love it. I'm not even going to hide that, sugarcoat it, whatever. It's just like, I love it. It's so engaging. I found myself drawn right back into it. The first time I saw it, I remember just being captured by it. And in a day and age wherein you have your cell phone, you have all these things. Sometimes you watch a movie, you might get your phone out or stuff. I found myself just engaged. I was, maybe checking the phone or whatever, but it's just, no, I'm fully focused on this movie. I think that's this type of movie. Would you agree?
Yeah. It's definitely one that beckons for your attention for sure.
Right. There's so much you can miss. I think this is one of those movies I appreciate because of the story. I think that's one we can start with, but I really appreciate the premise of this story of Hiccup. He's this, not as strong Viking. He's kind of viewed as, weak, and even by his father. It's kind of sad, but that's just the character he's in. But finds himself trying to, as Vikings, they're being attacked by dragons. So they're termed, if you're a Viking, you kill a dragon. But he hasn't been able to do that yet. Comes along this Night Fury, and turns out, no, he's able to, as the title suggests, train this dragon. And that's just been so cool to me, of that thought of riding on a dragon, riding on something that flies. We talked about like Rescuers Down Under being on an eagle. That's always fascinated me. So what did you think of that story, that premise, or any points there?
So really, I felt that the plot was very strong, like you were mentioning. It deals with friendships, with family, and how you have to put in and maintain those things. And the actual storyline where you get to see him growing in a friendship with a dragon is really a different kind of take, I feel. And makes me wish I would have read the book when I was a kid. I don't know when it came out. Yeah. But that is really cool. Really cool premise.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, this is based off of a book. I've never read it either. It might be something, if I get the time, go back and look at, because that is a great point. You don't sometimes realize it. Sometimes movies are done so well, it's like, wait, this was actually based off of a book. I think that's the case with this one. And I love the full circle. It's that premise of, it's been done before, but it's still unique to me, if that makes sense. Just that whole thought of half of, a family or one's feels strongly in one way, but then it comes to find out, no, that's not the case. With his father, he's wanting to kill these dragons. They're obviously, at the very beginning of the movie, they're attacking their village. So you understand that, but it comes to find out, no, these dragons, there's a bigger dragon and it's forcing them to bring food, and it's really against their will. So full circle of the plot, towards the end, the father realizes, no, these dragons, they aren't what they appear to be. I love that premise. Just the growth of characters. I could always eat that up if it's done well. Sometimes stories don't do it well, but no, this one did it almost flawlessly, I feel like. And going along with that, with the characters, that growth you see I think that's a strength of this movie too. The plot is great, but the characters are great. What did you think of the characters?
So Gobber, of course, was my favorite character, being voiced by the hilarious Craig Ferguson, who I grew up crying laughing at his humor. Gerard Butler does some outstanding voiceover work, and Hiccup was fun too. What I liked about the characters is they're very defined, very, very well defined. And that's hard to do in an animated picture. I really was taken aback by the characters.
They're impressive. I've got to say, we've considered a lot of just next level voice acting. And I think it comes down to take your pick. Maybe you have a personal preference. This one's up there for me, I have to admit. This is just my personal preference. And I'll go out and give a hot take. Like Gerard Butler might be my favorite so far that we've considered. I mean, I was so blown away going back to it. The emotion that he put into that role, it was like a real life Gerard Butler. It wasn't just this animated character. And, you know, that might be touching on a little bit. The live action, he's playing that role. So I'm kind of excited. We'll, you know, get to that as another time, but I'm kind of like, well done on the casting. You got to bring him back because I was blown away. I remember at the time thinking how impressive it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe going back to now I have children and he's that father and I can feel those emotions. Maybe that's just my perspective. But I can rave about the voice acting. You have Jonah Hill, you have Kristen Wiig, like you said, Craig Ferguson, big stars. I mean, at this time, you saw that a lot in animated films, but I think it was still impressive. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would.
It's just, I think they're great. I think, obviously, Gerard Butler, you know, Stoic is his name. He's, if not my favorite, one of my favorites. I do love Jonah Hill. Snot Loud, is that how you say his name? He's kind of the...
I'm going to butcher names for sure in this one.
I thought he was hilarious. He was kind of that more slapstick character that's funny, but I enjoyed his character. And yeah, like you said, Craig Ferguson is just hilarious, period. But that is him perfectly. I could rave about him too. I totally agree on the characters, but I think that is what's great is their progression. What'd you think of, like, again, the perception of the dragons being bad and then good? What did you think about that progression? It really was all characters.
Well, I honestly, like I said before, they're so defined. They, the characters aided to the story, although the story was strong. So it just pushed it along and helped you, kind of find weight with it.
Yeah. Astrid is kind of that crush from Hiccup. He has that interest in her, but she's tough. She's, the one that's kind of the leading candidate. The whole premise is that when the younger ones are coming of age, they are tested, and there's one that actually will kill a dragon and be kind of that. She makes a comment, I believe, of like, we're the next generation in this dragon war, so to say. And she's kind of that leading candidate. But then that kind of goes along with the story. I love what Hiccup does going back to Toothless. Maybe we'll back it up a little bit. What did you think of Toothless? We've been beating around the bush and we haven't even got to Toothless. What did you think of his character?
Yeah, that's right. Beautiful animation. You can dive into that if you want. That character is so likable.
Yes.
And that's hard to do with what they were given, and I really appreciated it. They did a really good job.
Right. Toothless steals the show. Like, I can't believe we haven't really touched on. We went to characters. There's just so many great characters in this movie. But yeah, Toothless is obviously the focal point. It's How to Train Your Dragon. That's the Night Fury. And my kids love Hiccup. They're just like, so cool because I love that premise too. He's called a Night Fury. No one's really seen him. They're just pretty much like, you see him, you're a goner. You're in trouble. And that's the one that Hiccup captures. He shoots a catapult, injures Toothless to where he can't fly. I love that whole sequence of them interacting because they're unsure of each other. But Toothless is just great. I mean, they kind of take the premise of it's a dragon, but it's also a cat. Did you notice that?
No, I don't think I really noticed that.
It's kind of like the when it is at first, it's really ferocious and scary. But then once Hiccup trains Toothless, they become comfortable with each other. I love there's kind of going back and forth. He has it's the field. You see Toothless rolling in it. I took that as catnip. Did you notice that? Like it was.
I didn't. I apologize if you forgot any scenes or anything. I was busy like looking up fun facts and like digging into stuff. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this one again. I apologize, but I missed a lot as I was doing my research.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes. There's so he notices things about Toothless because in that book at the beginning, he's looking at what knowledge they know and come to find out it's wrong. Like they're saying they're dangerous. They're doing all these things, but there's little tricks that Hiccup picks up on. There's one that he scratches behind his ear and it makes him like kind of pass out. And so he does that in the trials. He's tested and he uses it on one. And so to everyone's perspective, they're just like, whoa, he's amazing because he's defeating all these dragons. And really, he just picked up on all those little tricks. The other one I love is he goes to feed Toothless and there's an eel in it and Toothless starts freaking out. And he's just like, oh, okay. And then he uses that. So I love that. And throughout, you kind of notice the whole like cat, I guess, is what I'm saying. But I love how they do it. It's just, it's serious, but it's also silly. Does that make sense? Is that what you were kind of picking up on?
Yes. There's a lot of very, very it's a very clever movie to begin with, but there's a lot of heavy overtones, but they break that up with a lot of humor and comedy. And it's a very nice mesh because the characters they have delivering the humor are amazing. So you don't really notice the heavy parts as much, but there are quite a few of them.
Yes. I mean, again, going back to it, it's that father-son dynamic where the father is that tough guy. He's the leader of the tribe. And then the son is viewed more as this, he's weaker. He's not able to do what his father does. And there's kind of that clashing, but they grow to accept and see each other's side. And that's really what a family dynamic is sometimes. You have, your father, son, your mother, daughter, those types of things where maybe there's a misunderstanding, but they come to hear each other out. And it's just beautiful when it comes across in a film like that. I think that's what this film does. Like you said, it's got some weighty points because I go back to Gerard Butler. He just is just brilliant. I can't stress enough how much I enjoyed his voice acting in this, like the part where he's accepting of Toothless and they need to stop that dragon at the end. He lets him go, but he also grabs him and he's just like, I'm sorry. That whole sequence, like animated, it's beautiful. His voice acting, those types of moments are heavy. Like you said, You have that throughout this film, but they also dial it back. There's a lot of good quotes and funny lines. What are some of your favorite quotes or ones that you've noticed?
The first one that popped out at me was, most people would leave, not us. We're Vikings. We have stubbornness issues. I love that line.
I think that's my wife's favorite because her family, she admits that like we can be stubborn at times. So it's like kind of relatable in a way. She always says that's one of my favorite lines.
I'm saying yeah, not to her, to my family.
Yeah.
to me personally.
Yeah. It's a relatable line if you're like, yep, I see that.
I also liked, I believe this was Gobber. Don't worry, you're small and you're weak. That'll make you a less of a target. They'll see you and as a sick or insane and go after the other more Viking-like teens instead. I love that.
I laughed out loud at that part. Yeah. I actually kind of forgot it from first time I'd seen it, but I love that line too. He's got so many great lines. Yeah, you could just probably make a whole paragraph of his quotes. One that I thought of, I probably am not remembering it exactly. It's towards the beginning. Hiccup is kind of doing a voiceover, just kind of explaining the background of the tribe, and he's explaining his father, going back to he's that tough guy. He's that tribe leader. And something along the lines of, he's like, they say that when my father was first born, he came out and decapitated a dragon. Do I believe it? Yes, I do. It's a clever line. It's funny, but it also sets the tone. Like you get from that one line, okay, his father is very tough. And you see it throughout. He's jumping on these dragons and like punching them and fighting with them. And it's like dangerous looking dragons. So I really appreciate it. There's so many great lines in this movie though. Clever, like you said. But yeah, I found myself laughing out loud at times on them too. Well, I'm interested to hear, now that you're back, you can, the pressure's off me, but what kind of fun facts or anything else that you have to add for the film.
Can I first say that you did an amazing job, by the way?
Okay.
You don't need to beat yourself up. Um, so the first fun fact I found was the hesitation Toothless shows during the famous touch scene was actually an animation error. However, it looked so perfect that the animators chose to leave it in the film.
An error. Now I'm trying to make sense of that.
So I'm going to have to go back and watch it again, and I'm going to look specifically for this scene because that sounds really interesting that they actually made an error and they said, let's leave it. That doesn't happen, especially in a budget like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into that. That's very interesting because it's like, what is it that they messed up when it's animation? When it's live action, obviously you have mess ups. So maybe was he trying to like reach and?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look.
That's interesting.
I found this out after the fact. So
yeah,
there's a drawing very closely resembling the flux capacitor from the Back to the Future movies and Hiccup's design board.
Okay, so like when he's drawing.
Yeah, like in his room or whatever. Yeah,
that's cool. I didn't catch that.
So also, Gobber has a total of 14 different hand attachments throughout the film, which I found hilarious.
That is hilarious. I lost count. I remember noticing like he's switching out different, and he uses them all. And glad that he has them, but it's just 14. Wow, that's hilarious.
So are you ready for it? It's time for our fun fact trivia question.
All right. I'm locked in. Let's go. All right.
This should be an easier one than some of the ones I've thrown at you. So in the book version, Toothless color was A, black and gray, B, green and red, or C, dark blue.
You make it now I almost wonder, is this a trick question? Because you say it's easy, but I could his original color. I'm leaning towards either two choices, black and gray or the blue, but I think I'm gonna lock in the light blue.
So actually it's green and red.
Oh my gosh.
And I looked it up just to make sure, because I pull these trivia questions offline and stuff, and I just want to make sure it's true. And it looked like an old picture of dragons, like a really old picture of dragons. So like they didn't go very far on that one. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't very creative. So I wasn't sure if you're going to get that or not, because if you've seen it, it's like it'll stay with you is what I'm trying to say.
I got you. Again, I didn't read the books, but that's interesting. I just enjoyed the black color of Toothless.
Yes.
And it matches because I love that sequence at the beginning when he's flying over and they keep saying Night Fury, but you can't see him. And it makes sense. You're black. You're going to, at night, just be this mysterious dragon. So that's probably what tripped me up, is maybe I'm thinking in the books it's mysterious. The green, I would think, sticks out. So it's not as mysterious, but oh well, I'll get the next one. It's all good. Now you know. I need that like nice banner. Now you go, no, going across. All right. Well, there we go. There's the fun facts. But before we get to our reviews, let's take a look around the net like we enjoy doing. So, Seth, what kind of reviews are you seeing out there?
This first one I just had to. Simon_says_movies said, will enamor kids and enthrall adults 9 out of 10.
Yeah, that's high marks there. That's what we're seeing.
So the second one was the _fifth_echo says, one of the most breathtaking animated films of all time, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's what kind of reviews I was seeing. This is kind of regarded very well, so not surprising.
04 says, a terrific movie, fun for everyone, 7 out of 10.
Still solid. I consider a 7 as a good movie, so totally get that. But there's kind of a sample size of what we're seeing, but let's do it. Let's give our reviews. So, Seth, gotta ask you like I always do, when it comes to the 2010 film, How to Train Your Dragon, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to leave it at grandma's? Or are you going to hide it in the attic?
So this is an adorable coming-of-age movie, and I'm just going to say it. I'm going to leave this one at grandma's, hoping to revisit it soon.
All right. I'm going to say I probably liked it a little more than you, because I'm going to take it home. I love this movie. It's great.
Variety's good.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is. It's just, this is a movie I could watch anytime. It's well done. It's well crafted. I appreciated it more on this rewatch. I liked it at the time. I probably would have took it home at the time. This has so many fun memories with it. I go back to that time period in my life and seeing my kids enjoy it. I didn't really touch on it as much, but the animation I think is still good today. It's kind of showed its age at times, I will admit, but it's still really good. There's some like water animation, the dragons themselves, they're still really good. I love the style of this movie. It's well done. Going back to that budget, didn't really touch on that. It definitely went towards that animation. You can tell that's where they spent the money at. But my kids loved it. The sequence of him learning to fly with Toothless because he had to make that contraption on the back.
Yes.
It's cinematic. Like if they re-release this in theaters, we talked about there's a live action, but I'm content seeing this again in theaters. That sequence alone would be worth the price of admission, I think. If you have that flying, again, maybe it's just a me thing. I love that idea of just riding on something that flies like a dragon or a bird. It's just like, this is what movies are about to me. Like, this is just pure fun. So that's why. I mean, I don't know what else to say. There's not very many flaws in this movie. And it just, for me, it checks all the boxes. So, well, we also have to hear from Grandma. So let's get her rating. What is Granny's family-friendly rating?
Granny's family-friendly rating is, for How to Train Your Dragon, a C+ for violence and adult themes.
Yep. So a little caution advised. It's not too extreme. Going back to, there's lots of explosions, lots of let's kill this, let's kill that. And for good reason, they're Vikings of, these dragons are attacking their village. It's not I don't think it was in poor taste, but just be advised. Maybe as you're watching it, that's something to look out for. Well, we did it. Seth, have another film in the books. And now we're going to be ready for the live action. It'll be interesting to see. We're going to hold our thoughts till then, but that's just kind of a nice little preview, kind of get ready for it. But before we wrap things up, Seth, why don't you tell people where they can connect and find us?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can email us at moviesatgrandmashouse@gmail.com. We have a newsletter, so keep up to date with all things Movies at Grandma's House. Patreon, we are now on Patreon. Check us out, become a member, and go to movieposters.com and you type in Grandma's House 15 at checkout for 15% off.
There you go.
Yep. I almost did it perfectly.
You did great. No, I have to just say thank you for being back. It's like I can relax a little bit. So it's great.
It feels like home doing this. It just feels like home.
Yes, it was great. Great to have you back. And like Seth said, we just want to remind you, make sure you're on the newsletter because we're going to be having our contest giveaway, poster of your choice, courtesy of movieposters.com. So again, all you got to do is be on the newsletter. You're entered every month. Don't have to do anything else. It's free and that's simple. So that's going to do it for our time at Grandma's. But don't worry, we will be back soon. So in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.